Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. Today is May 28th. It's a Tuesday. I feel like it's a Monday because we had yesterday off for the Memorial Day holiday. So I feel like I'm a step behind here today, and I kept trying to get outside to film. Everyone was outside today, cutting lawn, working on pools. It was kind of crazy. So it just started to sprinkle, and I said to myself, no, I'm coming out here. I am coming out here. I'm going to film. I'm going to show you what my garden is looking like, the good and the bad. Not really bad. Nothing's really ever bad in your garden. So I decided to start in the backyard, just to avoid a lot of wind noise. So here I am on my back patio. I am on the northeast side of the house, the back of the house. So I just am taking a shot of this bed here, and you can see everything is kind of greening up and becoming more lush. Here comes my garden assistant, Luce. Hi, Luce. How are you? So let me just bring you in for a closer look and talk to you about a few different things that are in my May garden. I'm going to start here and show you, I did pick up some flowers just recently in the last couple of days at another nursery called Trichlers, which is in Sanborn, New York. It's another one of the nurseries that I love. And I said to myself this year, I'm just going to work kind of in small increments. I'm not going to try to get my flowers for my pots all in one day. So I just went and I collected a few things that I thought would look nice for a couple pots that I already had in mind, and I'll be putting those together this week sometime. So I especially love, I think I showed you this when I was at Russell's this past week. So I did end up picking up some blue ageratum. It's called Artist Blue from Proven Winners, and it's an annual, and I have seen it in other people's gardens, and I think it's just beautiful. It's very tidy. Let's see if my phone will focus here. It gets 8 to 12 inches high, and has a mounding habit, and I'm planning to put this, just tuck a few of these in the front of various garden beds around my house. I think it'll look really beautiful. I'll give you another close-up look at that. Just gorgeous. I also thought this little petunia was adorable. Hello, Lucy. Hello. And I think it was called Banana Cherry. I picked up a couple of these because I just thought they were beautiful. See if there's a tag there. I don't see a tag there, but I remembered they were called Banana Cherry. So let's see how the top leaf kind of looks like a heart. Let's see if we can find one. See how, let's come closer here. See how the top kind of looks like a heart. I thought that was really pretty. And then it's got that banana yellow in the center, so I thought that was beautiful. These are just a little viola that my neighbor Claire, a very sweet girl who lives next door, she gave me these violas. She had gone shopping for herself for some flowers, and she had those left over, and she came over and gave those to me. So I thought that was so sweet. And just a few other things. I've got, these are my spillers and thrillers over here. And I'll go further into detail with all of those annuals as I plant those up. And I have tucked in the corner here a tree that I just purchased from Home Depot, and I was looking for the Twombly's Red Sentinel Japanese maple. We don't always have room for a huge Japanese maple, and this one had a very upright columnar growth, and you know, Japanese maples can be very pricey, and this one was, with tax, $78. The Twombly's Red Sentinel Japanese maple. Now, it's looking a little bit rough. I'm not going to deny that it is looking a little bit rough. However, for that price, I just purchased it. It just came, like, actually it's been here for a little while, maybe like a week and a half. So it doesn't look too bad. Down below, I do have to water it today, but I thought it looked a little bit, I wasn't too sure about how it looked right at the base here, but I am going to give this a shot. We're going to be planting it on the south side of our house where the new garden bed is, and I think with a little TLC, and probably we're going to stake it up as well to give it some support. I feel like it could look beautiful next year. And I'm noticing right at the top of the tree here, let me stand up here and show you. See right here, you can see where some new red growth is happening, and I think that looks pretty healthy. And same thing at the very tippy top here, you can see it's putting off some new red growth right at the tippy top, which I think is looking good. So fingers crossed. I'm going to give this a shot. Protected back here, so that's been really good for them, and they still have some blooms on them. Let me come a little bit closer, you can see they really still have some blooms on them and are still looking quite nice. So I've just kind of left those as is. And I'm just going to pan over to my Hicksue here. You can see I have 3 Hicksue, actually 4, including this one right here. And you can see that they all have their new growth, you know, spurting out on top there. You can see the bright green color. They put on their new growth for the season, and I always love that time of year for a plant or a shrub. It just is so visually appealing to see the brightness come forth. And I'm just gonna give you a shot of my camera will focus here. This is the candy mint crabapple tree, and I think when I did my April garden tour, it was just about to burst. Literally, it had all the buds. It was all budded up, ready to explode, and it actually did, like probably a couple days after I filmed my April garden tour. So I will insert some clips of what it looked like when it was in full bloom, because it really is breathtaking. It just explodes into this bright pink color that lasts, I would say, for about a week and a half, and then everything starts to drop to the ground, and then it'll just be, let me just get up close here, it will just be more of a green color for the season. Let's see if I can focus there. Come on, camera, focus. So it'll be a green leaf for the season, but you can also see that it has like just purple buds left, which I think is just so beautiful. And it does get some new growth as well, and the new growth is like a red, kind of a shade of red or orange, and I'll show you that up close here. Sorry, I won't try not to move so fast with the camera, but here's some new growth on the candy mint crabapple towards the end. That's what the new growth looks like. Beautiful. And here I am just on the other side of the candy mint crabapple tree, where you can see in the corner here I have my limelight hydrangea, which is just starting to fill up with green, looking very healthy. We did prune that quite a bit in the fall. We pruned all of our hydrangeas pretty harshly in the fall because I never got to it last year. So it is looking pretty good, nice and healthy, and it will be usually blooms for me mid-July, right? These little hosta are called little mouse ears hosta, And they are such a sweet hosta. They're small and they have kind of that blue shade to them. And they come up so hardy. They just look like a bright bunch of cabbage, and they will shoot blooms up, little bloom stalks up that will be purple in color. So that should be happening in the next few weeks, so I'll make sure to capture that for you. And just beyond the little mouse ears hosta, I have Stella de Oro daylily that is getting ready to shoot up some yellow blooms. I don't see any buds coming up just yet on this one, but there are a couple in the front, and I have a couple right next to it that are starting to shoot some buds up. This is a beautiful euonymus called Blondie Winter Creeper euonymus. You can see it has a variegated leaf of yellow and green. Come take a closer look. Really beautiful. I really love how the spirea fills out in this space. It just gets so large and lush. Especially this spirea here, it really loves this spot. I think it gets a little bit of protection being in the corner here. And I usually have my grill right over here where the flowers are. So it kind of gets some wind protection from the grill too. Definitely a happy spirea. Here I have a rose of Sharon, and I always forget the name of this rose of Sharon. I just planted it last year, but it's a double bloom, kind of a ruffled look to the bloom. It looks like a double bloom rose of Sharon. I'll put the name up, and behind that I have a couple of hosta. They're starting to come up and looking beautiful. And here I have my Jack Frost Heartleaf Brunnera. I really enjoyed this perennial. I purchased it last year and had it in a pot, and then I planted it out in the landscape, and there's another one just beyond that rock there, and absolutely beautiful. It's kind of, fading out of its bloom, but it really, I don't know, I felt like it just shined underneath this river birch tree. It's right next to it. It just shined, and the little blooms that come off the top, they're so delicate and they twinkle. That's the only way I can describe them, is they twinkle. Definitely just such a beautiful perennial. I was so pleased and enjoyed. I'm just really enjoying this Jack Frost Heartleaf Brunnera. Let's see if I can come in closer to just see the bloom a little bit closer up. See if my camera will focus on such a tiny, delicate bloom. Absolutely gorgeous. And Lucy, we have our pool open, don't we? Our pool is open for the season, and my boys have already been in, enjoying it. It's so refreshing. And here is the Ivory Halo Red Twig Dogwood. I love how this one moves with the wind, especially when it gets a little bit bigger. I love the movement, and moving right along. along. We've got my emerald green arborvitae. Just take a walk down here. Oh gosh, that bird scared me. Oh my goodness. Autumn joy sedum. I have 3 right in front of these arborvitae here. And they are looking beautiful. Such a no fuss plant. Really any type of the sedums, not much that you need to do, and they don't mind being neglected. This is a summerific hardy hibiscus from Proven Winners, and I don't remember the exact variety, just planted it last year. So this will be my first season. This will be my first season really seeing it come to life and bloom. So I'm very excited about that. I will put the exact name of the variety up on the screen here for you, but very pleased with how that is looking. And I do know this is one of the last things to wake up in your garden. So I knew that going into it. And my husband said, "Are you sure this one made it? Is it dead?" I said, "No, just wait, just wait." And it did start to sprout up out of the ground. So if you have planted a summerific hardy hibiscus for the first time, just know that it's one of the last things to pop up. In the springtime, so just have to be patient with that. So I have summerific. I want to say this one might be Perfect Storm, but like I said, I'll put it up on the screen to be sure. And I did plant another one over this way, a different variety, but of the summerific Proven Winners series of the hardy hibiscus. And this one is also coming up and starting to sprout up. I think this is the summerific Berry Awesome, and I'll throw the picture of what that'll look like in the summertime. But I've been very happy with that. And here I have 2 carex grass called Feather Falls. And the carex is actually not an ornamental grass. It's in the sedge family. So that's kind of interesting. And this particular carex grass, and I think most of the different kinds of carex grass, stay evergreen, which is really nice over the winter months. So they provide some interest in the winter months. I do like to give them a good haircut though in the fall and sometimes in the spring, although I haven't cut these back. I've just let them grow out here. Sometimes midsummer I'll give them a little trim too if I feel like they're getting a little too floppy looking. But this is the carex Feather Falls. I'm just going to pan over to the Vanderwolf pine, which is looking beautiful, and it's put on its new growth. The candles, which are the new growth here for the season. My husband thinks it looks like the tree is giving you the middle finger. I don't know. I guess it kind of does, but that's what it looks like. And the Vanderwolf pine, it's doing very well here. The only area that I'm concerned about, if you can see this center main trunk here, just in this one area, is like not as densely needled as the rest of the pine tree. So, but that's how we purchased it, to be honest. That's how it looked when we purchased it. And I do see some new growth, you know, happening right in those little openings there, but I don't know. Not quite sure what that means or if it's something to be concerned about, but I'm really loving this tree. I just think it's such a eye-catching, you know, specimen in your garden. It really is. It can be such a centerpiece to your landscape. The Vanderwolf pine. And the Fat Albert blue spruce is also putting on new growth. And you can tell because the new growth is like just brighter, or in this case for the blue spruce, it's like an icy blue tip that comes out. I don't touch this tree as much because it's more prickly, but actually the new growth is softer. But this is quite a prickly tree. My husband got all cut up kind of when he planted it last year, but just beautiful. It really just adds wonderful winter interest when everything else has gone to sleep. You know, this blue spruce can really provide some lasting winter interest. And when the snow falls on this tree, it's just really, really something to see. And here are my Thuja or Thuja Western arborvitae green giants. I have 4 of them all in a row here, starting to really fill out and get taller. You can see those storm clouds in the distance. It's been kind of like this all day. Rained a bit in the morning. I think we're supposed to get some more rain at some point today, so I'm trying to see if I can squeeze this May garden tour in. I just wanted to get out and show you what was going on in the month of May before June is upon us. I feel like time has been going by so fast. And I think they're looking pretty good. Come up here and take a closer look. I love to look into the tree when I have a tree, and I'm noticing they kind of have like a little bud that forms, which I didn't really know that about these Thuja green giant Western arborvitaes, but see, you can see they have like little clusters of buds here, which is kind of interesting. Right here on the side of my shed, I did put up a new bird feeder, and I can't tell you how much I've been enjoying feeding the birds. It has been a joy, really, truly. It has been so enjoyable. And you know, you really get to know the types of birds that are in your area when you put up a bird feeder. You know, you may know a couple of types, but you really get to know which birds are in your backyard every day because you see them visit your feeders. So let me just come up and give you a closer look at this feeder. This is a bird feeder that I've ordered off Amazon. Let me come around the other direction. This cone area here, that was kind of to prevent squirrels from climbing up and, you know, eating the bird seed. But honestly, I do not have squirrels in my immediate backyard. They're in the neighborhood, but I'm sort of tucked in a cul-de-sac, and I have fence around the back of my yard, so I really don't deal with squirrels as much. But I do have a couple of cats that are kind of, they live next door actually, and really just one of them is roams around, so I just kind of put that up there to kind of protect the cat from kind of jumping up. But anyways, this particular bird feeder, I will link it in the description box below. But like I said, I got it on Amazon, and it has a cage feeder, a tube feeder, and there's like a little tray feeder or platform feeder, and then here is an area where you can put some water. And if I have any footage of my visitors that I've gotten so far on this bird feeder, I'll include some clips of that as well. And right on either side of the bird feeder, I have two hydrangeas, and these are my endless summer hydrangeas, the bloomstruck, and these are looking great. They're starting to fill out. I see some buds starting to form. These hydrangeas bloom on old and new wood. They're a macrophylla hydrangea, so I really did not do any pruning to them until just recently. I came and just clipped off the old blooms and the old wood. And the way you can identify what to clip off on a macrophylla is to just wait. The best thing you can do if you're not sure is to wait for a hydrangea and just see how it leaves out, see how it blooms out, and then whatever's dead will just remain dead, and you'll be able to see it just hanging out there once everything fills out, and then you can just come back and clip off the old dead growth. And this is a wild berry heuchera. It's shot up its little plumes, its little sparkly, twinkly plumes already, and they are looking gorgeous. Let's see if I can focus in on those a little bit better. And the foliage, I don't remember trimming. I may have trimmed this one a little bit, just cut back the old growth, but look at how lush and full. This is the Proven Winners Wild Berry Heuchera Coral Bells. It's just gorgeous. And I just really love how the leaf, it just maintains its color all season, and it's just a very strong leaf. Really love this one. And here are my window boxes that I put in the beginning of April or mid-April, just for some spring interest. And I just have some vinca vines, and you can see that the violas and the pansies are filling out nicely. Those violas are so cute. Oh, so perfect, aren't they? Just so sweet and bright. And then in the center here, you can see I have some yucky growth kind of on that daylily. Now, I had purchased this because I knew I was going to be moving it, so it was kind of a temporary thriller in this window box. So I'm going to be moving this out. This is the Raspberry Eclipse daylily, and I'll be putting it somewhere in the yard pretty soon because I'll be planting these window boxes out further. annual summer for the summer look with you know, an annual here. So I'll be moving that daylily, but it for now it looks okay. And just on the other side, oh, they're just in harmony together. The pansies and the violas are just in harmony together. Very sweet. And that is St. Michael the Archangel, defending us in battle. Spirea and the dwarf Alberta spruce, and you can see those dark clouds. That's been the majority of our day, just kind of a dark, cloudy day. Little periods of sun. We had some rain this morning, and the high is only, I think it's like 69 degrees, 70 degrees. Pretty breezy. This is my other window box. Not as much yellow, yucky growth on that daylily, but like I said, we'll be moving those daylilies to a spot that they'll be much happier. Just another shot of those happy little violas. And this is a new garden bed that we put in recently, right along the south side of our backyard, along the fence here, and it pretty much united our river birch trees. We have this one here. This is a heritage clump river birch. Sorry, I'll back up a bit so it's not so blurry. And then this river birch over here is just a different variety. It's called Durahit. And as you can see, the trunk of this river birch tree, it just has more of a whitish appearance. But the river birch tree, the bark, it's just so unique. The peeling, it's just so beautiful. I'm just going to step around to my patio here and show you my peonies. They are starting to open up and bloom. This is the Dr. Alexander Fleming peony. Let's pull this down and just take a look. As you can see, it's quite a large clump here that I have, and it's so exciting when they just start to open and they're sort of like still in that marshmallow state. It just gives you such a feeling of anticipation and hope. And I can also smell it. Oh, it smells so good. The Dr. Alexander Fleming peony. And then right over here, these here, this little clump right here, this is Sarah Bernhardt, which is also a beautiful, beautiful shade of, I think it's like a just slightly paler pink than the Dr. Alexander Fleming, from what I can recall. And, you know, when your peonies finally open up and start to bloom, I mean, isn't it a joy just to come out and look at them every day? It's not a long-lived bloom, so when it does finally start to wake up, you really have to pay attention and enjoy. Take pictures. Just sit on your back. Well, for me, I sit on my back patio and I just drink it in. Because this is truly what life is about. Savoring and enjoying the little things. also wanted to come over and show you that I put up a hummingbird feeder for the first time. Isn't it beautiful? Hummingbird feeders are gorgeous with the blown glass and the different designs. Let me just get up close here so you can see. I got this off of Amazon, and I will link this one below as well. Just give you a close-up look. And this is my first time feeding hummingbirds, so if anyone has any tips, I would be open to suggestions. I placed it on my back patio here. Now I still have to do my flowers, so I will be getting some pollinator-friendly flowers and different things that attract hummingbirds. But I wasn't sure if I should have placed it higher. Like, I used my shorter shepherd's hook here. I do have a taller one that I could use, so maybe I should do that because I have not had any hummingbirds come to feed. And I don't know if it would be better suited in a different location, you know, if on the back patio is a little too close to the action, but it's right here kind of tucked behind my golden vicary privets. So if anyone has any suggestions for how to better attract the hummingbirds, let me know. And it just may be that they're just not out yet. It's still, like, we just had our last frost date on May 11th. I'm in Zone 6B in Western New York, and so we're just starting, you know, to plant out our annuals and really get going in the garden here. So it could just be that they're just not around yet. I'm not sure. So anyways, that's my new hummingbird feeder. And this is my other clump of Dr. Alexander Fleming peonies. These seem to be a little bit further along, and they are beautiful too. And everything is kind of greening up. I love this spot just underneath the snow fountain weeping cherry. It's almost like a little secret garden under here. If I step underneath, you can see I have a couple of daylilies that are starting to shoot up some blooms, some buds that will bloom shortly. And I have a beautiful angel back there. Take a little closer look at the angel. This was a gift from my Aunt Suzanne many, many years ago. And this is just a shot from the other side of the new garden bed that we'll be planting up. And here's something else on my back patio that's starting to bloom. It's my clematis that I just have. I have two of them in pots on my back patio, and I don't know the variety. I'm so sorry. It's an early blooming clematis, and just a white clematis. Isn't that beautiful? I'll take a moment to appreciate that clematis bloom. And here I have just a shot of our pergola arbor that we put in recently back in April, and planted 2 generous gardener climbing roses at the base. And they're really doing well and looking healthy. And I don't see anything eating on them. So this will be their first season. So really my job is going to be just making sure they stay watered and that nothing is eating them. And also, when it starts to shoot up a long cane, I'll be training the generous gardener rose onto the pergola arbor. And when you're training a climbing rose up an arbor or a trellis, you want to make sure that the new canes, when they are pliable and bendable, I'm going to be training it vertically back and forth as best I can. And by doing that, you will be ensuring that you have blooms from the bottom to the top. Because if you just let the rose climb all the way up without training it in a horizontal way, I think I said vertical, but I meant horizontal. If you don't train it in a horizontal way, then you will end up just with blooms on the top and not all the way from the bottom to the top, if that makes sense. I'll share with you as we move along. Here's my other one. And I have my clematis coming up onto my trellis here. And it's doing pretty good. It's looking a little messy because I didn't get out here as often as I would have liked. I like to get out here and kind of make sure it's going in the right direction. So it started off pretty good, but then it got kind of, you can see, jumbled up here. Once it attaches onto like another branch, or maybe I can bring this one up. Yes, I can. Once it attaches itself to another branch, sometimes it's just hard to move it anywhere without breaking it. Oh, I got that up there. So these will be blooming out white and purple. The white ones are Clematis Haldine, and the purple ones will be General Sikorsky. See, this one got kind of clumpy up here. And this is looking kind of like, oh yeah, it snapped right here. Can you see? It snapped right here. I'll have to come and clip that. And here we are at the front of my house. Just going to show you a few more things. You can see up front here, my Stella de Oro daylilies are starting to bloom a little bit further along up here than they are in the back. You can see the blooms. Beautiful yellow color. And right next to that is my Junior Walker catmint, which honestly looks like it's glowing. Let me get up close here. It just has sort of a glow to it today. And beautiful purple color. I love this perennial. It's so beautiful. It smells divine. And it blooms all season. And you can get a second flush as long as you prune it down, which I usually do midsummer. I have two in the front here. Highly recommend this one. And I like the Junior Walker. It just is a little bit more compact than, I think, than the Walker's Low catmint. This is the Junior Walker catmint. So a little bit more friendly for a smaller landscape or a smaller yard. You can see this wind is it's really windy today. Really a windy day, so I hope it's not affecting the audio. I guess I'll find out when I edit. And this is just the bed, the kidney-shaped bed that's on the south side of my driveway that I have been working on over the past several weeks, just trying to clean things up. My Wine and Roses White Gila is finally blooming and looking much better. It's starting to fill out. I think during my April garden tour it was looking pretty darn sad, but it really is looking beautiful. And I did not prune on this at all. I was making the mistake when I first purchased it, and for several years into having it, where I would prune it every fall, and then I realized that it does bloom on old wood, so I'm leaving it alone, letting it kind of do its thing, and it's looking beautiful. I also tried to clean up some of my ornamental grasses this season. I did not get to these two grasses. So as you can see, this one's looking kind of rough. The dead part needs to come out in the center. It definitely needs to be divided, separated, and downsized. And this grass here, I wasn't able to get to that one yet. So you can see there's a certain type of grass that's the majority of the grass, and then you see those plumes coming up. That's a morning light miscanthus. That used to be entirely a morning light miscanthus, and then something took it over completely. So see, here's the morning light. You can see how it's a different look, and then it just was taken over by this other grass. So I'll get to that at some point. I just wanted to thank you all for joining me today, and I hope that you are getting out into your spaces and around your yard and really enjoying the spaces around you and enjoying the flowers and the plants and all the things. You know, your garden is not always going to be perfect. Everything is not always going to be as you want it, but you just keep on going, you know, keep on enjoying, keep on gardening. I don't like when things are perfect. I really don't. I think the beauty is in the imperfection at times and in the journey, you know. The beauty is in getting out there every day and observing your plants, learning from your plants, learning from your garden, and growing. And that's what I like to do in my yard every day. I love to learn and I love to grow. So thank you again, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.